All right, good morning, Madam Speaker and Madam Chair. So thank you for the opportunity to address this very important protocol today. My name is Violetta Nikolskaya. I'm currently serving as the chair for the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer Advisory Committee for the City of Hamilton. The advisory committee exists to eliminate barriers experienced by the LGBTQ community by giving voice to the perspectives of LGBTQ individuals and evaluating the city on its related efforts. We accomplish this by making recommendations and advocating for improvements. We were consulted on a previous draft of the Transgender and Gender Nonconforming Protocol. The advisory committee organized a public consultation with members of the transgender and gender nonconforming communities. This facilitated conversation was reported to the protocol's working group. The advisory committee has since reviewed the final version of the protocol, and we stand firmly in our support of the protocol. We see the final version of the protocol as having adopted the feedback provided to the working group, of which we thank, and the advisory committee stands in solidarity with the trans and gender non-binary communities, and we would strongly advise the Audit, Finance, and Administration Committee to approve the protocol for gender identity and gender expression, transgender and gender non-conforming persons. One of the advisory committee's guiding principles is that LGBTQ people benefit from equitable access to employment opportunities, city services, and programs. This protocol bridges a current gap between established human rights and full accessibility of city services and opportunities. The purpose of the protocol is, and I quote, to provide employees with clear guidelines regarding actions and behavior that is inclusive and respectful of all gender identities and expressions. This protocol has been developed to raise awareness and understanding of our shared obligation to promote the dignity and equitable treatment of all employees and members of our community, regardless of their gender identity or gender expression, end quote. This is not a controversial purpose. This is not a controversial protocol. This is a necessary and important step for the City of Hamilton to take to best promote the dignity and equitable treatment of all members of our community. To quote the City of Hamilton's own harassment and discrimination prevention policy, the City of Hamilton is committed to maintaining an inclusive workplace climate that promotes mutual respect for the dignity and worth of each person, end quote. This protocol, along with the multitude of good directives that it provides, helps to solidify an inclusive workplace climate that promotes mutual respect for the dignity and worth of all transgender and gender non-binary individuals who are and will be employed by the city. I would also like to quote the City of Hamilton's own equity and inclusion policy. Quote, Hamilton City Council management and staff, through the equity and inclusion policy, commits to meeting the needs of the city's underserved communities when meeting the needs of all of its communities, end quote. The trans and gender non-binary communities are currently underserved and underprotected in the City of Hamilton. This protocol makes significant strides towards the collective goal of building a local framework for the human rights that are already enshrined by law for transgender and gender non-binary citizens of Hamilton. Approving this protocol is an important step in a long-term process in ensuring that all members of our beloved City of Hamilton have equitable access to its services, programs, and opportunities. Thank you for your time and for indulging me in this conversation.
Thank you, Violetta. Are there any questions? Oh, sorry, Councillor Green.
Just a quick comment, Violetta. I just wanted to thank you for your leadership and your work in this committee and in that working group to bring us to this place. You've presented today a very clear, thoughtful, and deeply nuanced perspective, and I just wanted to thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any further questions? Thank you, Violetta.